It is a hot, sunny day here in Japan, and it's also nearing the end of the month, and so that can only mean one thing around Tech Yes City, and that is the used PC parts hunt of the month, where today we've got two new stores that I'm just going to check out here that I've never been to before, and they are JUN in Chiba and also DOS. So both these stores hopefully might have some used deals, and I'm really on the lookout this month for really anything motherboard, Ryzen, older Intel, older motherboard related, as well as of course graphics cards. But I think in terms of Japan, the mining boom never really hit here, so therefore the mining bust is probably not really going to hit either. But let's see what we can come up with here, both in physical stores and of course searching online to get the best prices possible.
And it's taking me back to the start. We lost everything.
If you want to get yourself a cheap, legit Windows 10 Pro key license, then today's video sponsor SCD Keys has you covered. For as little as $14, when you use that coupon code BFTYC, you can get Windows activated right now. Links in the description below. So stepping foot out of both those two stores, they were actually very good. In fact, they were so good to the point where they're some of the best stores I've seen outside of Tokyo. So I've been looking for some new stores to hit up in terms of getting used deals, and I'm definitely going to be coming back to those in the future, where we picked up an i7 7700, 32 gig of RAM, 256 gigabyte SSD, 1 terabyte hard drive, had a bronze rated power supply inside, a Zeus motherboard. The whole PC was complete and just had a crappy graphics card. And we got this for a little over 200 USD for the whole PC. Now you add in a graphics card that only needs an 8-pin power connector, and you get yourself a whole gaming PC, which we actually did get a graphics card with an 8-pin power connector. We got the RX 6600 for a little over 250 US dollars. So again, these graphics cards are coming down in price. Even the mining flood here is affecting GPU prices in Japan. So I actually expected the prices I was paying in Japan to be a bit higher than what the US is seeing on eBay, with all the miners dumping cards on eBay in the US and also in Australia as well. I think the graphics card prices are cheap there too, but it's good to see that I can get some pretty good deals here on GPUs in Japan, to the point where I also got an RTX 2080, and we picked that up for a shade over 300 USD. So I think that's a pretty solid pickup too. And you may be wondering, Brian, these are used cards. Did you make sure they were working? And actually, DOS was so good to the point where they just showed me it running Furmark. They said, look, if there's any problems within a week on any of this stuff, bring it back. We'll give you your money back instantly. And they also gave me a 1-month warranty on the PC. So they are guaranteeing their stuff. But one thing, I mean, if the graphics cards are running Furmark, they're going to be absolutely fine. Then the last deal that we got at DOS was a 1 terabyte hard drive, and we picked this up for under $10. So that was solid. They showed us that working as well. Then I went next door to JUN, and they had a few pretty good deals. I'd say the deals would be a little bit different to DOS in the sense that they had a lot more older stuff in the terms of having a lot more i5 4th gen and a lot of monitors and keyboards. And in the end, they had a case as well, a Corsair Carbide case, which I picked up for about 15 US dollars. And they also had some pretty good deals on SSDs, 1 terabytes and also 500 gigabytes. But I forgot my passport here, and they take 10% off at JUN, whereas opposed to DOS, they don't take anything off the prices there. So I was a little bit like, okay, damn, I forgot my passport today. So had I brought my passport, I would have ended up buying a few more SSDs and stocking up on those, because they had pretty good prices on used SSDs at JUN. But we ended up getting that case, and they also had a Taichi X370 and a Ryzen 7 1700. They were going for around $70 each, so I probably would have picked those up, but I just settled for the case because I forgot my passport. I'll probably come back another day if they're still there and get the 10% off. But in terms of moving to the next location now, we're already on a bit of a roll, but because I'm in Chiba City, there's a place called Frespo, and I've been to this hard off in the past. So we're gonna go jump in the Yes Mobile, go head to this hard off and see if they've got any deals.
So we just left that hard off, and I've got mixed emotions because that hard off was literally like, if you guys have watched Tech Yes City before I went back to Australia and did full-time YouTube, that hard off was one of the hard offs where I got some of the best deals on the channel back in the day, where we were building those under $100 PCs, the League of Legends PCs and stuff like that. A lot of those deals were coming from the hard offs, and this hard off was just one of those hard offs that was just amazing. And now it's just a complete bust. There is nothing there in terms of PCs, whether it's junk or whether it's just regular stuff, that is of any value. I'm just shocked that they've just got nothing there that's just even a decent deal. For instance, they got a GTX 970 and they're looking to, they're pricing it up like $20, $30 more than what the DOS paddle was pricing it up at. And then they've got GTX 1060s, $50 more. So all the prices I'm seeing at these hard offs are just more expensive when they used to be the cheapest place around town. And especially this one was a huge hard off that I used to go to quite regularly. So what I've been seeing here on the last 2 months that I've been doing these parts hunts is that hard offs are just becoming really bad places to get PC parts and deals. I mean, maybe if you're at a different location in Japan, say for instance you're living all the way over on the west side of Japan, or you're in another whole different island, maybe there's a hard off there that's got some really good deals. But in terms of around Tokyo and near Tokyo, these hard offs are just garbage. They just got really not even worth going to. I'm at the point where I'm gonna try one more of these places, and if I can't get a good deal, like if I just see absolutely nothing, then it's literally getting to the stage where it's not even worth my time looking at these places for PC parts. Now, I will pause and say that some of the times I've seen really good audio gear. In fact, I picked up an audio interface about a month ago from one of the hard offs that was a pretty solid price. It was around $30 and it was in immaculate condition for this audio interface. So it seems like everything but PC parts at hard off can be a pretty solid deal, but it just seems like in terms of PC parts in itself, they're either taking the whole PC apart and picking out all the cream and just selling it individually, or I mean, I don't know. It's really, all the fun's just been sucked out of hard off now, to the point where even I was thinking, oh, well, I'll just go to the junk section, go get a junk CPU cooler for the test bench where you don't need the mounting kit. And I used to pay like $1 for these. Now they're asking $5. So I don't know, man. I don't know. We're gonna try one more place before we conclude it, and maybe you can give me some hope, because I'm gonna try a whole new place that I haven't been to in a long time and see if they got any deals. Let's try it. We've gone from peak to the bottom, all in one parts hunt, and all in just 2 locations. So coming out of that next hard off, it was just like the one before it, a complete bust for PC parts. In fact, I had been to this one before, 2 months ago, when I did the first parts hunt when we came to Japan here this year. And since then, there have been some PCs that are still sitting on there. Actually, I think all the stuff that I saw there was sitting there again, except when I went to the junk section, there was some new additions on the shelves. And this will give you an idea of just how bad the pricing is at the moment, was they had a 4th Gen i5 OEM system, and it's going for like $115, $120 US. Now, usually you can get an i7 and 16 gig of RAM and know that the whole system works fine for that price. So hard off's pricing is just really out of the mix right now. I think they really need to calibrate their pricing properly before like maybe I'd be interested in buying something, because I'm just seeing like prices are just off in yonder at the moment, especially if it's junk parts and you don't even know, or there's no guarantee that they'll work. I personally love it when you at least get a 1-week guarantee, because then you can thoroughly stress test the parts, run them through a build, and if it works fine after that, you know it's 99.9% of the way there for the final flip. Though going forward, I think I might start skipping these places altogether, except maybe my local one where I found a decent case for a decent price and it's only a 5-minute drive down the road. But I'd love to hear your thoughts and comments in the comments section, because I am wasting a lot of time going to these places and checking it out, only to be either met with a mediocre deal that has, like in that case of that motherboard combo we got, it ended up having bad memory channels, which they lied about on the description when they were selling it. Or of course, we just come out completely empty-handed with a hard off. Anyhow, guys, I am at the last place here, this local hard off. I will check that and the Wonder X quickly, and then we'll get back to the Tech Yes studio. So that hard off ended up being actually pretty decent. They had a few items in stock that I would have got, especially if I was desperate. I could have got a few more things like an additional power supply and a Z68 motherboard, but these were the two deals that I thought were the best there. And that was an H55 from Asus. It's coming a little over $10. And then they've got a CX430 modular power supply here, coming in at around $7. So those two deals, they put a smile on my face, and I'm gonna still at least check out my local hard off, which seems to offer the best deals out of all the ones I've been to. But right now we are at this Wonder X, and we went inside. I've already checked inside, and that was a complete bust. So we went from like 5 out of 10 busts, if we were to give it like a point score, to a 10 out of 10 bust at this Wonder X. So as soon as I saw 4th Gen i5 and the price tag, I thought, wow, some of these places really need to recalibrate some of their prices. I just think they're way too high. But let's get back to the Tech Yes studio and unravel what has happened here so far. And we are back unloading all these deals on the table. And you have to excuse me, I'm a little bit tired. I've lugged all this stuff up 5 flights of stairs. Though starting off with the graphics cards, I'm grateful to see that in Japan, the GPUs are coming, especially on the used market, well below MSRP. And in fact, there is a 10% tax here on stuff, just like it would be in Australia. So the prices are actually even better than I expected here in Japan. Now, I came into this parts hunt thinking GPUs wouldn't be anywhere near the decent prices they are on eBay in the US. But I was surprised with this 2080 and also this RX 6600 that they were the prices that they were. And of course, they showed me them completely working. Everything was fine. So those GPU deals finally coming down to levels that actually scream good value. Now, we got the 88R case. That was a pretty good deal considering I already checked it out. They showed me it in the shop and it was pretty much near immaculate. But below that is a full build that's pretty much ready to go if you just add in a graphics card. So we got the i7 7700, 32 gig of RAM, SSD, backup hard drive, decent power supply. You add in the RX 6600 and you get yourself a whole gaming PC for under $500 US that's actually going to be pretty solid performance. Though in terms of this build, what I might do is change some things up, say do a case swap, add a bit of RGB bling, put in a bigger power supply just to make sure the person who's buying it not only has a better aesthetic, but they're more comfortable with the power supply. Even though a 450 watt power supply with an RX 6600, it's not officially recommended, but at least from the testing I've done here, it will be okay, especially if you undervolt the RX 6600. But again, back to that mindset of the person who would buy a beginner PC, they would sort of want that safety margin of having a couple of extra 100 watts. Of course, the bigger is better motto when it comes to power supplies sets in, so I'm happy to accommodate that. Though after that, we got the really good price on the 1 terabyte hard drive, and we got this CX 430 watt M power supply, which of course we can use on builds, say with GTX 970s, GTX 1060s, because I do believe the prices of those cards will be coming down very soon. And if I have some builds ready to go at a lower price point, I should be able to make some decent money flipping. Now, a lot of you guys asked me actually in the previous parts hunts that I've done here, how am I gonna price up these builds? How am I gonna start moving them? I've actually been trying to get my Yahoo account reactivated, the one that I was selling on. They of course wanna see my ID, and my ID's gone out of date since I haven't lived in Japan for so long. So it's actually a big mountain of crap that I've gotta go through to get my seller accounts activated on some of these websites. And so that will take a little bit of time, but in the meantime, I am hoping to try and sell some of these PCs at a free market, basically known as a car boot sale at a local place. So I'll see how that goes. If you guys wanna see a video on that, I will make that happen, but could be a big fail as well. Who knows? Let's give it a go. Anyhow, it's now time to conclude this month's parts hunt in Japan, where I'm very happy with these deals that I got here on the table. And I'll put the price tally up on the screen for you guys. Do let us know what your favorite deal of the month here was. I'm kind of leaning towards the H55 Asus motherboard. I know some people will be like, Brian, that's an old motherboard, it's crap. But this and also the CX430M, these are sort of coming in well under street price. And especially if I grab a Xeon for this little motherboard right here, it's going to make for some of the cheapest price performance you can get, especially if you're into, say, just getting into PC gaming, 60 FPS on a lot of titles. Something like the old school, even though it's really old, it'll still be able to get up and boogie, and it'll be able to get up and boogie for like a 1/10 of the price of some of these newer builds. And it seems like these kinds of builds will be coming back in season now that there's no GPU shortage going on, where we all know where the shortage really happened. It was just crypto miners buying off all the retailers at a higher price before all the cards could hit the shelves, and guys like you and me could get a chance at buying them at MSRP. Though of course the graphics card deals that we got right here, very happy with these prices. And in general, I just don't need to go on Mailcuddy or Yahoo this month because I can go back to that store, which was about a half an hour, 40-minute drive, depending on traffic, away from me. And they've got some really good deals on SSDs and also RAM as well. So if I need to go stock up on some of those parts for a budget build, I can quickly jump in the car, drive over there, get some stuff that I need, and then head back to the studio and put together a budget build. And instead of going on Yahoo or Mailcuddy, I still have to pay more on those sites than I would at this local place right here. So really happy that I ended up finding a new place to get some used parts from. And I just love going to a physical store, checking some of the stuff out. It really is a bit better than going with the online experience. Even though most people shop online nowadays, I just love picking the stuff up, getting to check it out, especially if you get to check it out before you buy it. Sort of, I guess, half the fun in used parts hunting. Anyhow, guys, with all that aside, I hope you enjoyed this month of June used PC parts hunt of the month. If you did, then be sure to hit that like button. Also, let us know again in the comments, what was your favorite deal? Have you been picking up some deals in your spare time? Love reading those thoughts and opinions as always. Just like this question of the day here, which comes from ZX. And they asked, the real question is, why didn't you start mining as early as everyone else? And then they go on to talk about how much profit they've made, people buying late, panic selling. And I've said this in the past on live streams, so this comes from the GPU flood video that we recently made. And the reason I didn't mine in 2021, 2022, this whole latest crypto boom, was because that I already mined back in 2017. I did the whole journey of getting into crypto mining using PC parts. And the whole reason I didn't do it the second time around was because after the first time, all it was literally a Ponzi scheme. I mean, in that message you've written right there, you're describing a Ponzi scheme. Those who got in early made money, and the guys who got in late lost money. And what I saw in 2017, 2018 was the exact same thing. I got in early, thankfully, and I made money back then. But afterwards I felt guilty. And the time since this last crypto boom and the recent one, crypto really didn't change. I didn't see anything of productive value that had changed since 2017 and 2021. I mean, all I saw was just like NFTs come online, and then the fees for those NFTs were like $50. It was ridiculous. People who wanted to really make artwork for cheap and utilize it on a decentralized network couldn't do it efficiently. And I thought when crypto came into play years and years ago, it was not only meant to bring the decentralization aspect, but it was also meant to bring efficiency with it. And so what I haven't seen in crypto is that leap in efficiency. A lot of things are still very inefficient. And so that's why, me personally, I haven't been a big bull on crypto. I've actually been staying away from it because I want to see crypto in my daily life being utilized. And in fact, if it's being utilized, I want to see it being better utilized than the current technology that I already have. And especially that argument of decentralization when the developers, which is where all the NFTs are on, the developers of Ethereum basically saying that their network is essentially centralized, that's a very scary fact as well. So it seems like when it comes to crypto, Bitcoin is still the original and still probably the one to go for. It's just that I don't believe in any of it personally because I don't think it's the solution to our modern day problems. And if you guys have spoken to me off camera, you'll know the only solution we really have to what we've currently got, the word starts with an R. And that's all we've got. That's all we can really do. Bitcoin ain't gonna do it, that's for sure. Anyhow, hope that answers that question. And if you guys have stayed this far and you're enjoying that Tech Yes content, then be sure to hit that sub button, ring that bell, and you'll get the videos as soon as I hit that sub box. And honestly, sorry if I'm looking like a steam oven in here. That's because I am. Japan this year, this is the hottest day in Japan so far. So it got up to like 36 degrees Celsius, and I've even got my aircon on and again, lugging stuff up 5 flights of stairs. It can get pretty hot here, definitely humidity wise. Anyhow, I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out for now. Bye.